All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode, I think this is 68 of my GEMP game review series. I am your host, Chris Gogolin. Thank you for joining us. Let's just make sure everybody on GEMP knows that we are live. Looks like we got about 4 or 5 people in here so far. Give everybody a couple minutes. Before we do our raffle, I promised last week that we would do another raffle giveaway. I was feeling in the holiday spirit, so we want to make sure we get that taken care of in just a few minutes. But until then, let's just get caught up on what's been going on in the Star Wars universe. So, of course, well, we've got the movie coming out this weekend. Whether people are excited, not excited, that remains to be seen. Guess we'll just have to see what they do with it, and then we'll know whether we love it or hate it. Because trying to guess ahead of time, I've given up on that. So, whether it's going to be good or bad. So, but in terms of the actual Star Wars CCG universe, which is what we know and love, round one of the Outrider Cup wrapped up this weekend, and after 6 matches, the teams are tied, 3 wins each. I guess that's not too surprising given the talent of the players involved. Bastian, Kieran, and Stefan picked up wins for Team Europe. Desai, Olsen, and Mishki picked up wins for Team USA. Most of these, you can find the links to the YouTube videos right here. Mishki and Tom, we don't have. They apparently don't. Brian doesn't understand how time zones work. So he said they're playing at 2:30 Eastern Time, and they started at 1:30, and nobody was around, and we missed the games because of that. So we'll have to get replay links and do those at some point over the holidays before round two starts. Round two will be in January. The new errata are all legal now. You can go see those new cards, and the new tweak cards are also legal and have been coded into GEMP. That patch was updated and released last night or this morning. So now you have access to all of that wonderful new content. Some of the top decks have been tweaked and pushed down a little bit. And Team Europe gets to pick the matchups for round number 2. We'll see how if they give themselves a better advantage and how they assign matchups and how things go for them. Speaking of the errata, as we mentioned, I'm sure that's down here in the announcements thread. The 2020 donor system is also now open. I know we've gotten a few of these have already taken place. People with these new V-Lite promos. I have to put that list up somewhere too. So if you hit the different tiers, I think for $100 you can get access to one of the V-Lite card designs. So there are 10 cards, and they have partial text or whatnot already, and then you fill in the game text. So the stats and stuff are already picked. The underlying card is already picked, and you would just sort of create the game text. I know we've got a couple people who have already purchased those in the donation platform. The link is right up here at the top, how to donate. And then just obviously include your forum information when you make the donation so we can tie it together, because people's forum names, Twitch names, Slack handles, GEMP names, a lot of times people use different things for that, so it can be a little hard sometimes to match everybody up. And of course, we always appreciate everybody renewing their Twitch Prime subscriptions on Twitch. Help bring in some additional revenue for the PC that way. That's another good source for us. That actually costs you nothing. So that's basically like you're donating to the Players Committee, but it doesn't really come out of your pocket. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you get one free sub a month. You just have to log in once a month and click that button and renew your subscription. Yoshi renewed his for 11 months yesterday. Greg Shaw hit 6 months yesterday. Thank you guys for renewing those subscriptions. And there's the information on the donor tier. Tournament cards are legal. Here's what the tweak preview cards are. and that PDF has been added. We talked a little about these last week. Blasterak overseeing it, Luke Rebel Scout, kind of becoming a merge of young Skywalker and Rebel Scout. They just sort of combine them together, so you don't have two Lukes with semi-useful game text. Now you've got one very strong alternative to Luke Jedi Knight, Leia of Alderaan, and Saitor. And then, of course, the other cards that were errated, and the two cards that were blanked, Young Skywalker being blanked, and Strategic Reserves Virtual being blanked. Speaking of the Outrider Cup, we were talking about before, I will have the deck lists for that posted from round one sometime this week. We'll get those all updated and posted for everybody so you can take a look at those. And the other thing, of course, I wanted to talk about in the announcements, well, your Emperor and the call for the Marketing Advocate applications. Make sure we point out this one as well. After several years, Chris Menzel is stepping down as Marketing Advocate. I think it was about 2 years that he was Marketing Advocate, but he's done so much before that. He just didn't have an official title. He was Euro Emperor for, a decade and a half. Running things over there, and then he actually got an official advocate title and has been doing that for the last handful of years. And he has decided to step down at the end of this year, and the PC is now looking for a new marketing advocate. So here's all the details on that. Kind of what makes you stand out. What have you done before? Do you have any actual marketing experience in a college internship? Do you do it for a living? Yeah. Other things that might qualify you, ideas you might have, time you're available to donate, to commit to this thing, because advocates, it is a bit of a time-consuming position. At least it should be. We have some advocates that are more active than others, but in order to really do the job justice and step in and fill the shoes, especially following Menzel, definitely make sure you got some free time on a regular basis to devote to that. But the league kits, we've been talking about this too. These are the cards that are in the league kit during the weekend Outrider Cup streams. I was showing off some of the cards. I showed off Invisible Hand, Ahsoka, the Bridge, the Cloning Cylinders, and Insidious Prisoner. There are two that I have not revealed yet, Luke, Last Jedi, and Kylo Ren. We're going to do one of those right now. Just bear with me for a second here. We're going to do Kylo Ren in honor of the new movie coming out. So it is the Kylo Ren that you have seen before. This guy is a full template, another foil. Foil version of Kylo Ren with lightsaber. Ooh. Retro. Wrong box. Okay. And at the end of the stream, I will show off the last foil, the Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker, before we get to that. But I do want to do the raffle. I should have left the... I said I would do this right around 7:15, 7:20, so we're a few minutes behind schedule, but looks like we've got about 13 or so people. So for those of you who may have missed it last week, what was being raffled off... we will show you again. Okay, so what are we raffling off? So last week, I gave out my Darth Vader Christmas stocking that my wife got me for a few years ago. And this week, we are giving away the Yoda Christmas stocking. Ooh.
Yeah? Give you away, I must. Go to your house, I will now.
So we're giving away the Yoda stocking, and thanks to the Team Wales, the Welsh Dragons, I have some of these wonderful holiday packs. Hey, Dan Tartag, thank you for renewing your subscription. So these are several different sets. They do little expansions for their events all the time. And it just so happened that several of the packs that they gave me were red and green, so I thought I'd give away a couple of them for the holidays. Big thanks again to Kevin and his team for all of their hard work and putting those together for all the European players and for starting to get some of that stuff, stateside, if you will. And I'm happy to give away some of what I've got. I'm keeping a little for myself, of course. And Gornal won last week's raffle, which I think he probably got in the mail already. Super cool, by the way. So hopefully he got a chance to open that up, take a look at that stuff. Also going to throw in some of the old poker chips. I'll throw away give away a couple of these. I've got the red and green ones for the holidays, so I'll make sure we send those along with it. Not yet, Sean. You're too early. So we'll definitely get that stuff shipped out. All right. All right, so we'll go ahead. It is raffle exclamation point at the end. So go ahead and type that now in the chat. We'll give everybody a minute or so to do that, and then we will randomly do our drawing. So it's raffle exclamation point. Is what you want to type. Gornal, you can't win again. Sorry, Bob. You got one. You can, if you want the matching set, you can certainly reach out to somebody to get the other stocking. But, yeah, and only enter once, Jeremy. All right. Give everybody just another second here to do it properly. I figured Dan would have actually just followed along with the crowd, but, that would be too easy. But that's what's in the league kit there this year. And, of course, you can purchase those through the Players Committee store. We'll give a 30-second countdown here. And then we will count all of our eligible entries. All right, there you go. At the buzzer. So, all right, so we're going to need to get a random number generator here. And we'll see how many. All right. How many? We got a bunch of people watching, but let's see what we got. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 people. All right. All right, so we need a number between 1 and 9. Best of luck, everybody. It is number 8. Who I believe is Berms. I think that's who just won. Berms 25. Let me just count again, make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Germs entered twice. Berms 25. Congratulations. You have just won the raffle. go ahead and send me a PM on the forums with your name and mailing address. We'll get that shipped out to you ASAP. So you'll make sure you get it in time for the holidays. Thank you, everybody, for coming to watch the show and being a part of the raffle. I'm sure we'll do more of these giveaways throughout the year. This is kind of fun. I kind of like giving stuff away. I'll give stuff out that's a little smaller, that's easier to mail. So this was pretty cool. Yeah, and then of course the Indoor Grand Prix is our other big event coming up January 24th through the 26th. If you go, you can watch the Royal Rumble with Brian Fred. For those of you who like wrestling, that could be a good fun thing too. Yoshi hit 12 months. Huh. So you hit 11 months yesterday and then renewed it again today for 12 months? Awesome. Well, thank you. Congratulations. I'll make sure and make sure to send me a message with the screenshot because I'll probably forget. Unless I already sent you your foil because I knew you were close. And I sent you a bunch of stuff a couple weeks ago, so maybe I already sent you your 12 months. Probably not, though. I'm not always as proactive with that kind of stuff as I could be. But anywho, still time to sign up for the Indoor Grand Prix taking place in Seattle, Washington, January 24th through the 26th. We've got 26 players already. I'm sure we'll get over 30 with a handful of people in the area. Some interesting players here. Should be a fun event. And Edward Echien is attending the event. He will be someone whose game we will be looking at in our game review of the week, making his return. Yeah, and then of course there's always some people there for shenanigans, as Taco Bill points out. Bill, are you not playing? You're just going to hang out for the weekend? Or do you actually want to sign up and play too? Or are you already on the list and I don't... No. Oh, there you are, number 25. I take that back. You already signed up. You playing counts as shenanigans. Yeah, well, that's fair. So let's pop over into the GEMP lobby for a second. Just see what's going on. So we got some Open Series games. Of course, the new errata and stuff is all now live in GEMP, so I'm sure that's going to change some things. The Jawa Cup is wrapping up its sixth and final game, and then I think you guys have like some type of top 8 playoff cut. So that should also be interesting. And we're going to have those games going on. I don't even know. Obviously, the Jawa Cup may the format it may stick around. It may just get tweaked. If the top decks are right now, we're throne room and ROPS and map and things like that. Maybe 3 or 4 months from now, they make an adjustment and go, all right, now the top decks are Diplo and Hitco and still map and ROPS, and everybody's just tired of playing against them. And you just make some tweaks to the format, and you just have that as like an alternate, fun Fred type format. So I'm sure it'll stick around for a while. And it's fairly easy to just, the programmers to update that and just ban, hey, here's the 10 cards that are banned now from this format. And just keep rotating them. So keep people, being creative and clever with their deck ideas. But we're going to get to our game of the week here in just a second. I do just need to take a quick short break. I'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. Okay, thank you very much for that. Just getting a little under the weather here. I have to clear my nose out. And certainly don't want to be sniffling or anything like that while you guys are watching, because that would just be disgusting. All right, so this game was submitted to us by both players. Apparently, some people watching thought it was a very interesting game and suggested that they send it to me. So I'm curious to see what we got here. So we've got Echien, or Edward Chen, taking on Berm, our big raffle winner. Yeah, it's Berm. It's your day, buddy. You're the big raffle winner, and now you're in the game going on here. So we've got this deal is getting worse all the time against Hyperdrive. Okay. Two decks we definitely don't see very often. And we're going first order deal, it looks like. So I wonder if this will be the Johnny Chu version. We're trying to set up Dark Deal or something else going on. And then Jedi Business, of course, fits very nicely into Hyperdrive and all the fun stuff that goes on with that deck. We'll take a quick recap because we don't see these objectives very often. And we have the time. So Hyperdrive basically starts these couple cards on the table. You're limited to only aliens and Republic characters. You can't play cards with ability, so you can still play all the droids you want in empty ships. Once per game, you can get an Episode 1 system, unless present with Qui-Gon. Maul is immune to attrition, so that's a nice little bonus for EPP Maul. That's actually that's actually pretty interesting. Especially now with some of the more stunning move decks floating around. This could actually end up hurting you pretty bad. And then you stack some cards on credits, and you flip your objective. And when you flip it, some of your Republic guys get a power bonus. Whenever you draw Destiny, or I'm sorry, whenever you complete the actual draw and don't like substitute it or redraw it, you can retrieve a force. And then you get a bonus for having the Queen's starship or occupying sites with Amidala or Jar Jar. Nice little upgrade from the regular version. And Jedi Business, of course, we've seen a few times. And then the deal objective here pulls a whole bunch of the Bespin locations that you needed to. And you flip it if you get Dark Deal on the table and you occupy the system and Cloud City. That almost never happens. Because usually you don't have the Bespin Cloud City sector. You usually go a different way if you're going to try and get Dark Deal in play. Not everybody does. The I'm Sorry version and stuff anymore. So maybe that might still happen. Might see a flip version. The flip side of this, Surreptitious doesn't cancel Dark Deal. And the planet that it's farthest from does suspended if it's targeting Bespin, so it doesn't cancel all your force drain bonuses. Opponent loses 8 force when you play all too easy. So if you insta-capture somebody with an all too easy by hitting them with the lightsaber in the carbonite chamber, you cause the same 8 force loss that carbon freezing would, except it's not carbon freezing, it's the objective doing the damage. So that gets around the relatively unprotected effect. And each Bespin location you control with an Imperial, your force drains may not be modified by opponent, so no -1s from anything. They can still cancel the drain, though. And if you have an alien Imperial pair, your total battle destiny is +2 in that battle. So if you have any, for each alien Imperial, oh, I'm sorry, it's not for each. Some of the other ones say for each. But if you have an alien and an Imperial together, you get +2 to your battle destiny. And if the alien happens to be an Ugnaught, you get +4. Probably not going to see a whole lot of that this game, especially with first order characters. But just the different interesting ways and things you can do stuff. All right, so let's run this down. Don't do that again. I'll pop out and suspend after he takes the executor, so that way he can't ditch it and go get another effect. He's going to imp command for Hux. Did he pull the finalizer already too? Doesn't look like he got the finalizer yet. Okay. He's got a Sonic for the security tower. And then we'll get some matching grabbers. So he's going to use the objective, get the system out. Now you will probably see at some point in time he's going to play a number of copies, somewhere in the 3 to 5 range of They Must Never Again Leave the City, which is the one that lets you deploy the executor for free. Occasionally you'll see people pull the goldenrod shield for that, to at least make them pay 2 for it. It's really only worth it in like the first 1 to 2 turns. After that, when they activate 15 force, spending 2 isn't that big a deal. When you activate 6 and you have to spend 2, it might mean you can't put a pilot down at the same time. So that might limit what you can do in, a turn 1, turn 2. But a deck like Hyperdrive doesn't really have a lot to interact with it, so I probably wouldn't pull that shield in this situation if I were light side. We get a docking bay. There's They Must Never Again Leave the City. If you are going to pull Goldenrod, don't pull it until they put the effect on the table. So there you go. So he gets his executor out for free. Now he satisfies his mob points. Now he can ditch the effect. He can get Endor Shield. And now he can use Endor Shield. He's also going to play You Know What I've Come For to get the shuttle. A lot of pull chains going on here. He's going to get Ozzel. And probably Chiranu. Tarkin's going ground. Doesn't deploy Ozzel. Draws his last card. Alright. There's several things with that I don't like. If you're just trying to satisfy battle plan to get drains of 1 and 1, it's not really worth it this early in the game. You have good power at the system with 12. Your opponent only gets 7 force. They're not really known for playing a lot of systems, so this isn't a terrible play. I'm not opposed to just putting the executor down. Yes, it would be nice to have a pilot on it. It's this move with Tarkin that I do not like. By occupying the system, you make their characters and vehicles deploy +1 to Cloud City locations. But Jedi Business makes Qui-Gon deploy -1. So you could still get Qui-Gon out. I think Master Qui-Gon only costs maybe 6 or 7. But there's still other guys you can get out too. Kit Fisto might cost too much. Obi might cost too much. Depending on which versions of some of these guys you're playing, you could put a guy down for 6. You could put Anakin down, get Anakin's lightsaber, and battle swing hit Tarkin and cause some overflow. So I don't like this Tarkin play by himself, especially with no force left. You're not even bluffing a barrier at this point. So this I would not think is worth the risk turn 1. There's just too many other things that can go wrong for the upside. If you're expecting your opponent is just going to ignore you, they're going to go to Tatooine, I'm going to set up on Cloud City, and we're just going to race. That's certainly one thing, but a deck like this, unless they can get Menace Fade set up somehow, they are not going to win a drain race. So they know they have to come interact with you, and you're giving them an opportunity to do that by just throwing one of your better characters in Tarkin out there by himself. We see a whole bunch of... Looks like he's ran just a whole bunch of Jedi lightsabers, not even running matching weapons. Looked like he had about 3 or 4 Jedi lightsabers in there, although Mace's uses the same picture, I think, so that could have been that as well. He's going to get set up at the junkyard here. Now, when he drains at the junkyard, cards get stacked under credits from your opponent. They have to lose an extra force and stack it here. And when they get 4 cards stacked is when they get the flip. Obi also has the cool game text. If a card was just stacked on credits, you can upload a non-character card. And what's on We're Leaving here, which helps move things along. Once per game, stack top card of your lost pile beneath credits. So you get Obi up pretty cheap. You stack your starting interrupt under credits, speeding up your objective flip a little bit. And then Obi's tech kicks in and lets you go get a non-character card, where he gets Boss Nash Chambers. And that'll help speed up the thing with him flipping. And then it looks like he's going to draw a couple of cards. And we do see he does have some ships. I mean, yes, he'd have a huge power disadvantage right now. And he's not going to crack the immunity on the Executor with just 7 force and 1 ship. So he drains for 1 and 1. And Berms is going to throw away both of his ships. So either he's not playing a system or a landing claw of his own that he would want to move to. And he's certainly not going to want to go tangle with the Executor and the Finalizer with just these 2 little ships. But he also has the ability, I believe it's on We're Leaving. Yep, there's Chiranu. Yeah, you can place any 2 cards in owner's lost pile to upload or retrieve into hand a starship. So you can get your ships back later in the game. Once you flip, you don't need the cards stacked under credits anymore, so then you can start ditching them, and 2 at a time to get your ships back. Yep. Ozzel to the docking bay. Chiranu aboard the Star Destroyer. There's Occupation. That's going to start doing some extra damage. And he's going to send some First Order people after Obi-Wan Kenobi, just like in the movies. So we get FN, who cancels game text and keeps people from using weapons. And we get Phasma, who adds a Destiny with a Stormtrooper. And Hux, who also gets a used pile pull. Oh, there's the downside. He's been holding this barrier the whole time, but he drew up his cards and didn't leave one either. Rookie mistake. Always leave a force. Unless it's absolutely unnecessary, always leave a force. And then he doesn't battle. Wow. I guess he was afraid of drawing low. If his opponent basically, because FN has to make himself hit in order to cancel Obi's text and keep him from using weapons. And if he drew a 4, he would kill more than FN. FN wouldn't cover all the damage and the attrition. So then he'd be left with just 1 guy here. So instead, he just drops these guys and doesn't battle, but he's right in front of a guy with a weapon, and now he's going to give his opponent the opportunity to do stuff and to deploy additional cards and battle and clear some of this stuff out. He's also going to give his opponent the first weapons phase action, which kind of negates FN. Because he's only going to stop the second guy with the weapon in this situation. So if you're going to deploy these guys and go after Obi, go after Obi. Maybe you hold this till next turn then. Set up the occupation, call it a day, draw a couple cards, save some force. Next turn come down with this and a 4th guy and battle. Because right now it looks like Darkseid's going to be in some trouble here. That's a situation of kind of rushing into things. And he's going to take a swing at Hux. I'm going to ignore the fact that I just see a tremor in the force drawn as a destiny there. Some of you are wondering, I haven't seen that card since Premiere. What does that do? It's errata now, thankfully, after, this was a Decipher errata. Once per game during your deploy phase, insert face down into opponent's reserve deck. When effect reaches top, it's immediately lost. Opponent may not activate any more force that turn. There was a very annoying deck that a group of guys from Seattle who no longer play the game uh, used quite effectively to win some tournaments. Don Kitzman and oh god, uh, John Hawkins I think was the other guy, and Vandermeer. Hawkins Denoma, Stephen Denoma I think was the other one. Yeah, used that deck very well. They would play like 5 or 6 copies of that, and they would just every turn just insert it into your deck, and it would pop somewhere mid-turn, and you'd be like, "Oh, I can only activate 3 force this turn. Great, what am I going to do?" And you're like, "You're going to do nothing, and then I'm going to drain you for 5 or 6, and move you. So move away, and then you would activate. Oh, I only activated 2 this turn, and I can't move to chase you. It was really annoying. So Decipher immediately eroded it once people actually started playing it, even though the deck had been out since Premiere. The card had been out since Premiere. Nobody used it really until those guys started using it right around the Death Star 2 timeline. So there you go. All right, so Hux is going to get hit. He's out of here. Sorry about the mess. I don't remember specifically. Bill. I know they were playing Throne Room with it for light side. I don't remember what he was playing against, but yeah. So it was like you give your opponent no force, so they're already choked, and then yeah, you just shut down all their activation. I'm sure you guys can go read the old tournament reports from RamapoCon in the late 90s. There we go. We got Kit Fisto now making an appearance. And we got a Jedi Business. So Kit gets a... Okay, I think this might be where that glitch came into play. So he transfers Obi's lightsaber to Kit Fisto and then deploys a new lightsaber on Obi. Not quite sure why he did it that way, why he just didn't deploy the new one on Kit. Is there a reason you can't deploy it on Kit? I don't think so. But I do believe that GEMP currently does have a little bug that when you transfer a weapon to a new character, it still recognizes as if it's assigned to the old character. So now when Obi fires this lightsaber, or vice versa, when Kit Fisto fires this lightsaber, it's going to count as Obi firing the weapon. So if he had deployed the weapon, the new one on Kit, it would have assigned itself to Kit. They have to work out the kinks on that. So for now, yeah, transfer before searching. Okay. Yes, your characters can hold more than one weapon at a time. They just can't use more than one per turn. So you could have deployed Qui-Gon's lightsaber on him as well. Probably would have still had the same, if that had been the case, probably would have still had the same glitch when you had to move one. But yeah, so for right now, the workaround is just make sure you deploy the weapon on the guy yourself. What does Kit Fisto do? Once per turn, use 1 force to draw top card of reserve deck. Well, that's pretty cool. So he's kind of like a 3PO, and ironically enough, he lucks into the 3PO interrupt. So he's going to grab Were You Looking For Me and grab 3PO and our 3PO as well. And he'll put 3PO someplace safe. Put back that projection. That's not going to do you any good. Yep. Get yourself a better card. Hey, it's Rescue in the Clouds. Now seems like a good time to play that card too. That would have been a great card for your opponent to grab, by the way. Because the other part of this is cancel a Just Drawn Destiny targeting ability or defense value, non-undercover character of ability less than 5 at a system or mobile location. So if you go to his Cloud City sites. Rescue in the Clouds would help protect your any mid-level characters you have from getting hit by weapons. I'm assuming Kylo's in here with a lightsaber, probably an EPP, Mara, Vader, Maul, something. So any mid-level guys like Padme, etc., Solo, that could protect them from getting hit. All right. He did save the Force, of course, because he wanted to use FN. In this particular case, GEMP's bugged, but it ends up working out the same way anyway, because FN would just, whatever guy didn't swing, FN would then cancel their game text. Assuming he doesn't get sorry about the mesh right out of the battle, too. No, it's unique. You can't do both. Oh, actually, the Jedi lightsaber doesn't make forfeit 0. Just no, he wouldn't have been able to swing it the previous turn. Yep. All right, so there's a 3. Yeah, it seems like the end result there is kind of the same, where only one guy got the swing. Light side wins the battle. They get the stack a card. And he stacks an Imperial Command. But Kit Fisto has to die, because Kit's not immune to any attrition. Oh, because Obi's game text was canceled, so Obi's not immune to attrition. So he's going to lose Kit Fisto to keep Obi. Yep, that makes sense. And then Phasma's going to die. And that'll cover the battle damage, and we're kind of right back where we started, with Obi chilling by himself at the junkyard. And he'll get to draw a couple extra cards. Save that Force. There you go. There's another good one. Advantage. Picked it up a little late, but there weren't any ability greater than 3 characters that were just lost, so no harm, no foul there. There's a Rescue in the Clouds. There's an Anakin. This guy we were just talking about. This is quite a mercenary V. He's trying to see what purpose he's going to lose the advantage now. Interesting. Cancels Ellis. Not going to have that to worry about because he started a rest order. Cancel Smuggler's game text. Upload Chewie or Merc Armor. Move phase. Break cover of Undercover Spy. That might be worth saving for at least a few more turns. Breaking a cover of an Undercover Spy. Because this deck can't run Corrin Horn. You have R3PO, who can do some damage still, but you still need to be able to initiate drains here in order to stack cards, so that's a good keep. Hey, look, it's Grievous. Grievous versus Obi-Wan. Now, that is just like in the movies. Except Obi had a little bit more of a beard by then. But Grievous is going to steal a lightsaber from the Lost Pile. And he's going to get Qui-Gon's lightsaber. And there comes Maul. But he doesn't have any force left to battle. So methinks Grievous gonna get sorry about the mess. Maul gonna get disarmed. Power -1 may not use weapons, including permanent weapons, in their game text. took a peek. Opts not to play the Sorry About the Mess. He wants to get the site out first, I guess. Maybe he'll just do it during the battle. We got Padme, we got Anakin, we got Lando. But we can't afford them all. Oh, I take that back. That's not virtual Padme. That's non-virtual Padme. So we can afford them all. Non-virtual Padme, we don't get to see her very often. Deploy 2-5. Twice per game may deploy Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan here from reserve deck. While present with your Jedi at a site, opponent cannot target her with weapons. So he is going to go get Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon wants his lightsaber back, but so sorry. And then in this case, he'll actually end up dropping Lando. Uh-oh, the dreaded revert. Yeah, Maul is immune until Qui-Gon shows up. It's not going to matter when Maul gets overwhelmed just by the sheer power, because Grievous is going to get hit. And sorry about the mess. Boom. That's right, you are under attack. So Grievous is hit. Sorry about the mess. Number 2. It's kind of the card you need to run to protect your junkyard, though. He's out of here. He takes the lightsaber with him, though. And now it's just Power 6 Darth Maul against Power 19 and 2 Battle Destiny. He's going to command to go take a guy. He takes Thrawn. He could have used command had the battle continued, had Grievous lived long enough to either add one or prevent Lightside from drawing more than one. I think in that situation you add one for Darkside probably. Try and get rid of 2 characters. Alright, so Lightside draws 6. That's going to put them up to 25. Maul's covering 13 right now, so you're already down 12. Minus whatever you draw here. Probably like a 3 or a 4. Oh, it's a 5. Okay. So he's still got to peel 7 cards, or he's got to have a Gick in that 4-card hand. And he's got to stack a card for losing the battle. Now he gets an upload. Take the sense. Okay, takes the rescue. I would have taken the sense for 2 reasons. 1, it was the lowest Destiny card in there. And 2, you never know when your opponent might do something that you might need to cancel. And now that you got Qui-Gon on the table, you don't have to worry about missing. Well, there's Relatively Unprotected was still in there, so I guess there's a 1 in 12 chance you could miss. Okay, and he does have the Gick. Alright, so Darkside's going to get drains of 2 in space now because they've got Chiranu up there. 1 at the docking bay and then 1 for occupation. So they're doing 4 damage a turn. Lightside draining for 2 and stacking well, if they ever get to drain, they'll drain for 2 and stack a card. Because they lost Force, Master Qui-Gon, if you just lost Force to opponent's effect, you can upload an Episode 1 Interrupt, accept control, or put a card from hand under credits. Normally we just see this part getting played, but in this particular deck, you could put a card from hand under credits, helping to speed up your ability to flip your deck, flip your objective, and start retrieving for Draw and Destiny and stuff. In this case, he's just going to upload. He's going to get Are You Brain Dead, which targets your Episode 1 Jedi. Defending a battle, target is immune to attrition for rest of turn. That's the used part. A lot of people use the lost part more as like a get out of, as more like an extra Hoojix. If a battle you lost, place a Jedi Council member you just forfeited in used pile to cancel all battle damage and attrition against you. Jedi Council members, Kit Fisto, Mace Windu, Yoda, Plu are Jedi Council members. Probably don't see Plu in this kind of deck though. But yeah. Now the downside to this is because it requires you to place a guy that you just forfeited from your lost pile into your used pile to cancel the battle damage and attrition against you. Your opponent can play Cold Feet, and that negates all the effect because it stops you from taking the guy out of your lost pile, which then negates the benefit of it, the result being this canceling the battle damage and attrition part. So you don't want to rely too heavily on that. Hey, look, it's Blue Coon. Speak of the devil. Once per turn, lose top card of Force Pile to make your character forfeit +2 and immune to attrition for remainder of turn. Yeah, he can hold the Jedi lightsaber, so it's not bad. It's another guy you can use. He has some synergy with that kind of stuff. So he puts Thrawn by himself to the security tower. Not quite sure what he's hoping to accomplish there because this only does damage at battleground sites, which the site here is not. So I'm not quite sure what he's trying to get out of doing this. If he's trying to set up a different way to get Dark Deal going, he needs the sector and stuff if he's going to do that. We haven't seen any of that yet, so I can't imagine he's going too heavy for that, but I'm really not sure what purpose Thrawn is serving over there by himself. Other than just asking for, like, a spy to come beat him up. You can't play Rebels, so that takes away a lot of the good spies, but, the objective does cause damage with Jar Jar, so you might see a Jar Jar floating around. Jar Jar is also really good for getting rid of undercover spies with Wisa. And there we get the drain. So he initiates the drain. That forces the card to be stacked. That flips the objective. Let him upload. He took the barrier into hand. Now he can ping one with the objective as well because he's got Padme at the site. That'll cause one more loss. And Anakin's going to go to Cloud City and get a lightsaber for him too. It's Jedi lightsabers for everybody. Three people throw a card back, pick up another Are You Brain Dead? And then he's going to insert the Tremor in the Force. Now there is a defensive shield you can pull that cancels inserts. I forget which one it's on, but there is a shield you can do. insight. Cancels it when it's inserted or revealed. It is canceled. Yeah. Plan was to prevent Dark Deal because you have to control 3 sites to deploy it, and that would be the only reason he put him out. Yeah, I mean, he's got to put the sector out, put a Kylo shuttle, I guess, at the sector, and control the 3 sites. So this seems certainly reasonable. Um, going here and stealing his site, preventing him from controlling to do that. That's fair play. You could have just gone right here and attacked and cleared these guys. That would have been option number 2. But without a Hoojix for yourself, that's a bit riskier. Now you do, if you had had the sense, and you could have sensed the barrier that he's likely playing to protect this, that would have been a bit easier to work. So you drop Anakin, you swing, you hit Ozzel, you draw Destiny, you clear Tarkin. Maybe you live because Anakin's immune to less than 4. Maybe he draws low. Maybe you get to live. Your power's about the same. You're adding 1 to your total. You're going to retrieve for drawing Destiny. So options, but without a way to cancel barrier, that's just asking, and no Hoojix to back it up. That's just asking to get your butt kicked. So certainly understand that. Alright, and then at the end of the turn, after he draws a handful of cards, he's going to put Walkling out of play to retrieve Plo Koon. That's only going to leave him with 1 force remaining. I would have liked to see you save 2. That way you've got 1 for the barrier, and in case a battle does happen, you've got 1 to retrieve with your objective. I understand wanting to get Plo back, though, before he drains and he gets buried a little further down. Huh. He activated 1 and then popped the tremor. But because that was out, it canceled and it negates the effect. Without the defensive shield, that would have been his turn. I activated 1. I've got 2 force. I can drain you and say go. That was a poorly designed card. It was a bad idea. Alright, so we got a drain of 2 at Bespin. There goes the Lost in the Wilderness. That's not helping because that only targets planet sites. And there goes a Sense. He's already pulled 4 shields, so I think you're okay there. There goes the Quite a Mercenary. Alright. He takes another occupation. There's a Tarkin's bounty. I guess he was looking to see if the sector was there. So he is apparently going for the full deal, which would make sense. Just taking him a little longer to set it up. If he really was running deal, he grabs you 3PO. Now that the Quite a Mercenary's gone, and 2 sorry about the messes have been used, let's go get you 3PO and block the drain. It's Supreme Leader Snoke, and he's going to get a use pile pull. And there's a 4-lom to cancel Anakin's game text. He seems deserving of a barrier, even though you could blaster deflection it too to cancel 4-lom's weapon targeting. Well, looks like Lightside's going to have to find a new place to get some draining going to get some damage. They'll still get to cause 1 from the objective for having Padme. Might have to consider moving Obi over to one of the sites to get an extra drain going there. He tracks around with 3PO and gets that Plo Koon, and then activates a bunch. He'll cause the 1 force loss. He activated it all. Only left 1. I would like to see him battle here and clear these guys out. Drop Isla, battle, swing, hit, draw Destiny. Just overpower some people. Power +1 for each opponent's character there. So she's power 6. Plop her down with Anakin, battle, swing. Probably could have tracked around some decent Destiny. Instead, he's going to space. This is a bold play. It's going to put Plu up in space. Well, Thrawn's on the ground, so he knows he's only getting 1 Destiny, but he could have some commands. And it's a 5. 5, not going to get it done. He does still battle on the ground, though. He's going to play Blaster Deflection to retarget 4-Lom's gun and make it cancel Snoke's game text. Alright, it cost 3 force to do it, though. That's the downside to that play, because now you don't have any force again to retrieve for drawing Battle Destiny, which is kind of what this deck really wants to do. But it does cancel Snoke's game text, and that's pretty funny. And now you draw the 5, and now you clear out Snoke, because 4-Lom won't cover it, and Snoke's not immune, because his game text was canceled. But now you run the risk of losing... Oh, he draws low. Anakin gets to live. Yeah, I wouldn't have done any of this space stuff this turn. I would have dropped Isla, I would have battled, I'd have swung and hit somebody. And then actually like retrieved some cards for drawing Destiny and whatnot. You still end up clearing the site kind of the same way. You actually probably would have gotten both characters. And had the site to your own. You put 2 cards on the table to block a drain of 2. But the question is how long can these guys keep up? Because you're already down 7 power. Hey, you do get to activate, though. That's part of the text we don't get to see a whole lot. If Queen's Royal Starship add a system during opponent's turn, you can activate up to 2 force. So I'll get some extra activation to pay to retrieve this turn. He can make the ship power forfeit +2 and immune to attrition, but you're still down 7 power, so you're still going to end up peeling cards there. He activated 14, I think, right? So you had 15 cards left down. So you need to leave 3, so that's 12. 1 to battle. That gives you 11 active force. Drop Isla, battle, swing, hit, draw Destiny, retreat, pay to retrieve. I think you had enough force to do it all. I mean, you spent 10 on these guys. Alright, so we got a little bit backwards here, unless that was the card he pulled out of his used pile. So he drops Kylo, and then he plays Force Push. And there's a we're in attack position now, which will probably not up his damage at all any. Ouch. General or commander controls that is related. No generals, no commanders. So this just makes the ship immune to 2 more. He does play lateral damage, which you can do. You can deploy it on the system you're at. However, your opponent then does immediately reach it and does get to try and draw Destiny. So if he draws greater than 2, your lateral damage is immediately canceled. So that goes there, targets that, and now he gets to draw to try and immediately cancel it, which he does. Does make your opponent burn a good Destiny draw, though. And then Edward doesn't battle. I don't know what he's afraid of here. You've got 2 cards in your hand. Hopefully he watches this video. Yeah, sorry, CRG. We did the raffle about 7:20, so you definitely missed that. But we'll try and do some more in the upcoming weeks. I've got enough stuff lying around my office that I can start giving more of it away to our loyal Twitch subscribers. All right, so he drops Kylo. Doesn't battle here to kill Anakin. He's got a big power advantage in space. Lightside has no hand. He's immune to less than 14. And he doesn't battle here either. Yeah, I know Edward said he's just kind of coming back to the game, so he's probably a bit rusty on some of these things. Hopefully he'll watch this video series and pick up some tips. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what he was waiting for there. It's almost like he's expecting, like, oh, my opponent must have something because there's no reason he would have put these guys in front of me like that if he didn't have something really good. It's like he only has 2 cards in his hand. Make him do it. And now this part I don't like. Berm, you got 2 cards left in your reserve deck. You deploy Anakin, or you just battle with Anakin. Um, you're only getting to draw 1 Destiny. You're not getting to swing at anybody. Now, obviously, the card's going to be higher than a 3, I'd assume. So, Kylo's going to end up dying. You get lucky that he doesn't hit you. He does cancel your game tax with 4 love, though, so you're going to die to the immunity anyway. But you're not taking anybody out. I mean, you're taking Kylo out, but you're not taking 4 love too. Yeah, it's a good draw. But you could have activated 2 less, so you've got 4 force saved. So you could have activated 2 less, swung at somebody first, and still drawn the 6 for Battle Destiny. I'm sure you were expecting you were going to do it here. You were going to drop Mace, battle here, draw a 6, make sure you kill Tarkin, and kind of leave Ozzel hanging out by himself. But these are why we do these videos. This is kind of the stuff we watch, talk these things through, help people, you know, improve their play. And we all learn together as a community. There's all things that, I mean, hell, I've been playing this game 20 plus years. There's still things that I either forget or see or realize too late. So, oh. Well, then it's all worth it. And it's good to have you here in the chat to kind of walk us through a little bit about what your thought process was too. So it's good to have that back and forth interaction. Yep. You just slide Qui-Gon over to get a drain at an additional site. And draw a couple cards. Weapon Lev, looking to see if you can find one more lights. Oh, sensed. He's going to try and sense it. Now he'll draw the higher. Yep. That is the downside. So the sense misses. Oh, he had used Tarkin's bounty to peek at the top card, so he knew it was a 4, knew he was going to miss anyway. Well, in that case, then yes, playing the sense, not the smartest course of action. Unless you just wanted to put, unless you just needed one extra card back, you can make a case for it. That, hey, I'm just going to play the sense even though I know it's going to miss, just so I can put the sense back, so I've got one more card in my reserve deck to work with. Oh, I guess that is the thing. I forgot about this too. It does add a battle destiny while the objective's flipped. So 15 and 8 and 2 destiny. He's going to play command to add 1. Okay. Again, you're immune to less than 14 unless your opponent can magically draw 2 7s. Can't imagine that happening. It looks like he's just going to draw the 3 and the 4, which will be 7, which will be enough because Plu only forfeits for 5. So, I mean, yeah, he set up enough destiny right there in space to do what he needed to do. Now he can clear the ship out, make light side go back to paying to drain. That's a successful move. And you could argue that if that's the reason he was using the sense, then it worked out in his favor. Now the downside here is he lets his opponent draw 2 cards for destiny, which means he's going to get 2 retrieval out of this. 15 to 8, you're up 7. I think I'd almost rather play the command to limit. Activate to the 4, draw the 4. That's fine. Your opponent draws, they get a 3 or a 4, with their 1 draw. So they still lose the battle by 7. They get a little less retrieval. They still end up peeling a bunch of stuff. They don't get to retrieve guys into hand, which is pretty strong. He just picked up 2 cards. Out of that deal. So I think I would have rather seen him play the command to limit. Are You Brain Dead works in space? In use pile to cancel all battle damage. Yeah, it does work in space. Look at that. He's going to get to keep. Use the Are You Brain Dead in space. That's a good play. That is a good move. Alright, you got Tarkin and Ozzel here drawing 2 destiny. They're just going to outpower Mace in this situation. Maybe not. Oh, he's going to redraw it. He still could miss. And if that under attack is coming up anytime soon. At this point, Lightside just has a whole bunch of high destiny anyway. So 6 gets dark side to 13. Light side's down by 7. They can draw a 4 or 5 here, retrieve a card, and then just peel 1 or 2 cards that they retrieved. Hey, there's a 5. So they lose by 2. And you retrieve a card. So then you just lose the card you just retrieved and something else. And keep Mace. And in the meantime, Tarkin dies. And then Thrawn has to move over. Yeah. And then Mace gets his stick and starts cutting people down. Oh, arrest order. He can lose Ozzel for 5. Same difference. Either way, he still has to move Thrawn. He can't just leave Tarkin by himself in front of Mace Windu with 4 cards in your hand when he knows you just retrieved Anakin into hand. He's going to move 4-Lom over. 4-Lom's not going to do it. And he moves Tarkin away. I think that's even worse. Because now we're going to end up with Anakin in space. And he's going to... Because it's going to hold 1 pilot and 5 passengers, huh? Alright. So Lightside does get the drain for free 1 more turn. Mace, Qui-Gon drains for 1, Mace drains for 1, and you get the 1 ping damage from the objective. Yep, there's Plo Koon. Throw Anakin on as a passenger. Oh, he's going ground. He can battle for free and kill Tarkin here. That works. Can't retrieve. I'd rather see Anakin in space in this situation, just because he's adding +1 to each destiny draw, and if you're getting 2 draws, so then you're already getting a +2. That's going to help make up some of that power difference. I'm sure you're just going to keep forfeiting Plu used with Are You Brain Dead, just to keep blocking stuff. But if you could put 2 decent destinies together, a 5 and a 6 or something like that, and then Anakin makes it, you can actually end up winning the battle. If you can grab the command as well. Mm-hmm. Yep, he already grabbed the rescue in the clouds, so there's no risk there of him grabbing the Are You Brain Dead. There's the small risk of him having the cold feet that we talked about earlier, but he hasn't really drawn too many cards recently, so oh, it's Darth Vader. Now this is like in the movies. Because now Mace has no immunity to attrition. Because that's what Jedi Business says. Mace is immune unless he's with Anakin or Vader. Actually, he keeps his regular immunity. I take that back. Although Forlum's just going to cancel it. Um, but he does get outpowered. Yikes. Well, you can retrieve a guy into hand, which you're going to need to do. So he's doing a pretty good job of just kind of, Darkseid isn't doing any damage anymore. The drain in space is blocked. The occupation was kind of negated for a turn or two because he has nobody at Battlegrounds. So the longer this kind of thing goes, the more it favors Lightside. They're at least getting some damage in each turn. Padme's doing 1 damage here. He's getting a drain of 1 over here. This deck needs a solo. That's what it needs. Play one of those interrupts from the lost pile. But I see Berms starting to pull ahead just a little bit. And we've got Yoda. Oh, and the Players Committee thanks you, Bill Kafer, for your donation. And he's going to draw the Are You Brain Dead? Which, thanks to an errata after a gripe fest from Queso Sauce, Yoda, Keeper of the Peace, is now a Jedi Council member and has an Episode 1 icon. Because he, prior to that, did not work with Are You Brain Dead? Much to Jerry's surprise at the Tatooine Regional last summer. Look, it's Vader and Anakin fighting over Yoda. This has just all the feels going on here. You were partly responsible for that, yeah, because you told Jerry he was doing it wrong and beat the crap out of him. Alright, so Anakin's game text gets canceled. Doesn't really matter, because Yoda limits and prevents any destiny modification anyway. And we'll see. Lightside will get to retrieve 1. Yeah, your beatdown succeeded. Exactly. We can all picture the look on Jerry's face, too. Those of us who know him can imagine exactly the look that was on his face when that happened. Alright, so he'll forfeit Yoda. And then he'll play Are You Brain Dead 1 more time and send Yoda back to the use pile. So you can just kind of keep looping these guys around. And that's the lost function of the card. but every time he draws Destiny, he just retrieves the card, so. And in the meantime, he just keeps grinding him down. Drain 1, ping 1. We're going to speed this up just a little bit. Because I think we all can see the writing on the wall of where this one's going here. Thrawn going up to space. That's certainly going to make a bit of a difference. Now, Plu's going to get to keep doing his thing, but if Darkseid can find their sense again, because I don't think that Are You Brain Dead, I don't believe is immune to sense. Although now Lightside has their own sense back in hand, so they can sense your sense. Yep. Now just kind of running out of stuff to do here. Yep. Put Yoda right back down with Anakin. Say go. Or move away. That works too. Oh, he's going to battle with Anakin. Draws a 5, which becomes a 6, which is good enough to kill one of them. And retrieve the Are You Brain Dead in the process. Which he takes right back into hand. Which he's going to need in space to protect the Plo Koon loop cycle that he's got going on. Yep. Yep. I see what you're doing here. Makes perfect sense. Plus, you're just running them out of characters one at a time. Well, you just keep retrieving the same 3 guys. Battle with Anakin. Retrieve Are You Brain Dead. He battles you. Forfeit Plo Koon. Play Are You Brain Dead. Retrieve Anakin when you draw Destiny. Cycle, rinse, repeat. Yep. All good plays, Berms. Yoda moves over. He's got 1 card in hand and 7 force left. Yep, slides Obi over to get a bigger drain on the ground, speeding things up. I was thinking about earlier, I wasn't sure if you had any other weapons or ways to kill U-3PO. When you moved Qui-Gon over, I would have moved Obi instead. That way you would have either forced him to follow you, and then you get the junkyard drain plus the card stack. Or you get a drain of 2. Darth Sidious would be, yeah, Darth Sidious would be pretty baller. Just start putting all these guys out of play. Yep. Oh, he drew low. He only drew a 3. You can just top deck a card. Retrieve Jedi's concentration. Take it into hand. Lose a force for the battle. Throw away Jedi's concentration. He top decks a card. Okay. And there's the space battle, which is just going to get Are You Brain Deaded? Are You Brain Deeded? Yep, he'll draw 2 4s. Puts him up to 26, and you'd have to feel pretty safe about the whole thing. Until he plays the Are You Brain Dead and just loses Plo Koon and satisfies all the damage. And retrieves a card in the process. And it's little things like this that make you really wonder why you played 2 grabbers. Oh no, I draw 2 1s. I lose the battle by 16. Just forfeit Plu Koon to the use pile. Done. Clever. Very clever. It's an excellent manipulation of resources. And coming up at the conclusion of this game, we will show the Luke Last Jedi foil that is the final card in the 2020 League kits. Is this a diff tournament? Is that what is he trying to grind out every card he can at this point? Yeah, you need a gun. Just shoot the ship. Then he'll just lose 2 cards off credits and retrieve the ship back into hand. Yeah, it's not immune to sense. It's certainly a card you can grab. It's one of these annoying cards. Lightside has a lot of annoying interrupts. A lot of dark side decks run 2 grabbers, and as we mentioned, Cold Feet, which people seem to keep taking out of their decks. I can't justify it in my own mind. Between needing the extra defensive shields and then stopping stuff like a Jedi's Resilience and in this case, Are You Brain Dead from taking guys out of the lost pile. And I think it also messes with Mentali, it cancels Mentalian Savrip too, which is another card that sometimes can be really annoying. So, yeah, but Savrip in this deck and just keep losing guys from. No. Battle with Plu. Overflow Chiranu for the win. After he retrieves 1 more card for Draw and Destiny. Getting his differential up just 1 more higher. All right, well, certainly an interesting matchup. Thanks to both guys for submitting me the links. Had a good time looking at that one. We'll go back to regular screen now. Whoops, I need that one. All right. And at last, our last foil of the league kit. Ooh, the Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker, in foil. Ooh. So be sure to tell your local tournament organizers, make sure to purchase your league kits for the 2020 season. And hey, Taz, thank you very much for your subscription. We appreciate the support. Month number 2, welcome back. All right. That is going to wrap up our stream for tonight. I don't know. We'll try and do one next week. See what we can do. Hopefully, we'll have some new game links now with the new errata. All that new stuff that should be released. That's been released. Hopefully, now we'll start to see some games. See how the new errata cards and a couple of the new tweak cards, the new side tour and things like that. So if you guys play with any of the new cards this week, be sure and submit your game links to me so I have some stuff to review and look at. And we'll take a peek at what's going on there. You guys have a great night. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, and we'll see you. We'll see you again soon.